Welcome to my world history notes, where I read from the book I wrote to teach homeschoolers. A Bible Believer Looks at World History. You can see it on lulu.com, amazon.com, or at the Bible Baptist Bookstore, or just follow me here. You will not agree with all my conclusions, or maybe any of my conclusions, but you should know about the topics, events, and people I discuss. Um, so we're going to talk about Greece today. Um, Mycenaean civilization, the civilization that gave us the conquerors of Troy, Achilles, Agamemnon, Odysseus, also known as Ulysses, has few scant remains for us to examine. Most of our information comes from the epic poems of Homer, known as the Iliad and the Odyssey, about the legendary war between the city-states of the Greek mainland and the West Asia Minor city of Troy. The culture was more primitive than later Greek culture in industry, trade, and accomplishment. But one thing that stands out is their metalwork, in which the best example is found in a tomb at Vaphio near Sparta, where gold work is very sophisticated and skillfully done. The double headed axe, sacred also at Crete, is found here along with a mother goddess associated with a sun intertwined with snakes as deities. The Cretan Rhea becomes Demeter, called by Durant the Mater Dolorosa of the Greeks, after Demeter, the Virgin Mother of God. Civilizations come and go, but satanic religion standing in opposition to God's revelation of himself continues. Read 2 Corinthians 4:4 and Romans 1:19 to 25. The Mycenaeans prospered after the fall of Crete and the Minoan civilization. Their artwork became even more distinctive. Their trade reached into the Near East, and Troy apparently was a stumbling block. The Trojans, although given various origins depending upon which historian you study, did have the same gods that the Greeks and Mycenaeans worshiped and feared the same demons. Durant believed that these people were originally from the Balkans. He believes they or their immediate ancestors are the same people mentioned by the Egyptians in a papyrus about those who fought at the Battle of Kadesh in or around 1287 BC, according to Durant, or 1294 BC, according to Brian Parrott's The Battle Book, and called Dardanui, or Homer's Dardanoi. The theories about the origins of the people of both Achilles and Hector run for book after book of endless assumptions and conjectures. The Iliad and the Odyssey, having been oral poetry, possibly long before they were put to pen and paper, might have embellished their characters as being more Greek than they were. I recommend reading both the Iliad and the Odyssey, or perhaps a summary of the events of the two works. They can be found free online for you to view and skim over. I would, however, avoid movies about them, as they tend to butcher the story. Durant says that around 1500 BC, according to Greek tradition, Zeus, whom I've stated is Satan by another name, was angry with the human race and caused a flood through which only Deucalion and his wife Pyrrha survived in an ark or chest that rested on Mount Parnassus. Their son, peculiarly named Hellen, was the father of all Greek tribes. He was the grandfather of Achaeus and Eon, who begat the Achaean and Ionian tribes, which, after many adventures, settled the Peloponnesus and Attica. Durant goes on to relate that one of Ion's descendants, Cecrops, with the help of the goddess Athena, founded the city named after her. His descendants ruled Athens as kings. Theseus was his grandson. Theseus supposedly gave Athens order and peace and ended the sacrifice to Minos. According to Plutarch in his quote Lives, he also coined money and instituted the Isthmian Games. In addition, he fought a war with the Amazons, a tribe of women warriors from where we get the name for the river in South America and the slang word for a physically tough woman, as in she's quite an Amazon. That resulted in a truce. After his death, he was worshipped as a sort of god, a demigod. Plutarch claims that some of the Greeks fighting at the Battle of Marathon claimed to have seen a vision of him rushing on with him to fight the enemy. Boeotia to the north was the rival to Athens. Legend has it that in the 14th century BC, a Phoenician, Cretan, or Egyptian king named Cadmus founded the capital Thebes at a crossroads that separated Greece as north and south and east and west. He taught the Greeks how to write and then killed a dragon. After Cadmus reigned his son Polydorus, his grandson Labdacus, his great grandson Laius, and Laius' son Oedipus, who, according to the playwright Sophocles, killed his father and married his mother, although unintentionally. When he died, his sons fought over his throne, both dying several years later in a war that resulted in Thebes being burnt to the ground. And we're going to stop there. We're going to continue talking about a little about Thebes and going on to different myths and different evidence of histories of Greece. So I thank you for watching. I hope you'll dig into what I've said and study it, come to your own conclusions. Take care.